The last game was a great win, and it was a really special win. But that's long in the rearview mirror now. We're getting ready for this Panthers team. We know they're going to be hungry. They're very talented team on defense. They got Clowney, who's one of the best game wreckers in the league. Jaycee Horn's one of the top cover corners in the league. Things didn't work out for them the other day. That happens sometimes, but we know they're a great team, and we have a lot of respect for them. So that's what we're doing. Any questions?
Just going back to Sunday, as far as first half versus second half, what did you sort of identify as maybe the differences there outside of, I guess, maybe the penalties that you guys had?
Yeah, I mean, the differences were stark. I really felt like the first half we were in the preseason. And then the second half, we started to pick it up and really got things going better as we went. The penalties were definitely killers. A lot of things to learn from that tape. A lot of things to understand better about ourselves. And I think that'll be a process moving throughout the season of us evolving, But it's a one week at a time league, and we're focused on Carolina.
When you say, you and Jim have both said that the first half felt like preseason offensively. Mm-hmm. When you say that, you're talking about just chemistry. Obviously, Bradley hadn't been in there at center at any point in the preseason games. Justin obviously didn't play in the preseason games. Is that sort of what you guys were referring to?
There just wasn't the synchronicity that we have done on the practice field and whatnot, and that happens in preseason games some too. So, everybody working together, being on the same page, and we came in at halftime, and some things were that close. If we had just approached it that much differently, the outcome would have been huge. So it happens, and it's, man, what a high character group. Came in at halftime, nobody was blinking, and got ourselves together and went out, and these guys really had a great second half. Something to build on.
How did your time in Carolina impact you as a coach and influence like your philosophy and how you approach coaching?
Wow, that's a great question. I was there for 7 years when they were an expansion team. Really started off doing everything, working a lot of 18-hour, 19-hour days, and got to learn. I started on the defensive side of the ball, and I really got to learn from some great defensive coaches, Dom Capers, Vic Fangio. Spent 3 years on the defensive side of the ball, and that really I look back on as the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in coaching was doing that and then moving over to offense. So a lot of great memories there, and looking forward to go there Sunday.
Did you, from your vantage point, I don't know if you could tell it, did you see, I don't know, maybe how any of it may have impacted Jim? He told us yesterday he basically learned when he was there that it was time to get into coaching. What was he like when you were there, and how did you see
that? That's when I first met Jim. He was always in the film room. He'd be sitting in our special teams coach's office on the floor watching film with the special teams coach at night. So what does that tell you? A quarterback doing that. So he was just grooming himself to become a coach. And we drafted Steve Smith that year, and he was on the scout team, and Jim was running the scout team, and they were tearing up our defense. So that didn't bode well for our defense.
How did you make that transition personally, just from defensive coach to now offensive coach?
At the time it was a very steep challenge. But then the more you go, they started coming to me. The old offensive coaches would always come to me. Hey, well, how are they going to adjust to this on defense? How are they going to adjust to that? Then you start putting everything together. But initially, you got to have 2 ears wide open and your eyes wide open and ready to work, so you can really learn from all these great coaches that have come before you. So it was definitely a process for me. It was a great one, though.
Did you eventually want to end up on the offensive side?
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, and it's crazy how it happened, but it happened. So that was really, really beneficial, and I would say any young coach, try to coach on both sides of the ball.
How impactful was Paul Boudreau on you in 2001?
Yeah, Paul was a big influence on me, yeah. Paul, Tony Wise, Jim McNally, all those guys, 3 very different line coaches, but they very different philosophies, but kind of ran the gamut with those 3 guys there.
You and Jaycee go way back. His injury history more than anyone. Just how satisfying was it to see the opener he was able to have?
Oh yeah, it was great. You know, I mean, it was great to see J.K. do it. It's great to see any of our guys out there having success. But he hit, you know, made some huge plays for us, Joe, and you know, couldn't be happier for him. And I do know that, you know, right after the game, he was saying, I could have done this better, I could have done that better, you know, I could have done this better. So that's his mindset, and that's the kind of mindset you got to have. So that's the exciting part.
Have you noticed him faster? Because sometimes when players come back from Achilles injuries, Jim kind of said they could be faster.
Yeah, that's true. And I'd say he's not quite where he was 3-4 years ago, but he's close and getting closer. He's continuing to ascend.
He was upset that he didn't score on either of those 2 long runs, and he said he's not in shape yet. He's got to run some more gassers.
Yeah, those guys are hitting it yesterday. Him and Gus both. I mean, they were killing it on the gassers yesterday. Yeah, those guys are getting after it, trying to get in the best football shape possible.
Is it possible to do that? You know,
Oh, yeah.
in the season, get even better shape?
Well, yeah, for sure. They didn't play in the preseason games. You get in the game, it's a whole different speed. So yeah, but like where they're at.
Is there something you discovered about this team now that you watched them in one game that you didn't know before?
Oh, I mean, I think every week's a huge learning experience. You know, I really like how we handled adversity at times. Obviously, there's a lot to clean up, and that's really the thing you got to focus on is as you examine it, see how we handled certain things, and really point out here's how we have to do, here's how we can do this better, here's how we can do that better. But at the same time, I wouldn't look too deeply into the first game. You know, there's a very specific plan to cancel certain people on the defense, and you know, you got to rob Peter to pay Paul sometimes to do that. So I wouldn't look too deeply into it.
You ran a pretty good amount of 2-1 personnel on Sunday, and I know that's mostly run stuff, but how can that running out of 2-1 also benefit the pass game?
You talking about the 2 backs, 2 tight ends?
Two backs, 1 tight end, 2 backs, 2 tight ends.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, to me, you have these different boxes, the different buckets, different personalities of your offense, and we want to be able to have multiple personalities. That's a great personality to have, and it can really impact different phases of the game. It's kind of a core to your identity. But at the same time, you know, you want to be able to do this as well, and do this, and have this personality, and be able to do that. You know, so if you can run that, if you can have those different personalities, it really, I think is a benefit.
What did you make of Joe Alt's debut?
I thought it was an outstanding debut. I thought there was a lot, you know, he was going against some really good players, and I thought he handled it really well. Definitely things to clean up. He knows it, and he will. But a great learning experience. Just so excited for him and his upward soaring trend.
What did you make of how the interior played? Trey and Bradley.
I thought they played really solid against a lot of tough looks. We saw a lot of looks that we weren't really keyed into prior to the game, and we adjusted, and I really felt like it got better as the game went on. But they're a tough defense. Thought they had a good plan.
When you say looks that you guys maybe weren't keyed in on, Jim mentioned that they blitzed a little bit more than maybe they had shown previously.
There was that, and they pretty much there was a pretty, you know, it was an all or nothing plan on their part, really, and you know, yeah, all the blitz stuff or not, you know what I mean? Just so, but our guys hung in there, figured it out, and got better as the game went on.
And you guys have talked a lot about building identity, you know, on the broad level of like finishing the fourth quarter down to like, you know, the offensive line getting better as the game goes on, being able to finish on the ground. How validating is it in week one to, you know, have that drive at the end there where, you know, you're able to break off a long run and finish the game, you know, with the offensive line playing the way that it was playing?
Yeah, I mean, it spoke volumes really about everybody, and all the things that led up to it too. You know, Josh's catch on third down to extend that scoring drive prior to that. All those things, every play leads to the next. So, but to be able to, for those guys to go out and do that at the end of the game and put the game away in that fashion, And then Ladd's play at the end, that was pretty spectacular. I think it speaks volumes. It's a great start, and it's really something to build on. And, I really tip my hat to our guys.
How did you feel like Justin played?
I thought Justin had a really, really good winning performance. I think there's some things that he would like to have back, a couple plays here and there. But overall, I thought he really handled things well. And, it was a real specific game plan, and we kind of moved things into a smaller box as we saw what they were doing and played that game. And it ended up being the right formula. So I thought he got in the saddle, stayed in the saddle, and really handled it well.
Is that an overlooked part of his game? I mean, we all see the arm strength and the accuracy, but just the poise or, whatever cliche you want to put on it.
I definitely think, I don't know who's overlooking it, but we're certainly not. But at the same time, the great thing about him is every day he's trying to get better. He's trying to get in here every day and get better mentally, physically, emotionally, on the field. So that to me is his calling card. Is just that work ethic and that daily, drive to chase it. So, and I think that kind of mentality, breeds into that type of player that's going to, handle things on the field the way you want him to.
Jim said Rashawn graded out at 98% off the game.
Yeah.
Just what impressed you the most about Rashawn's game?
Man, he played great. Just a great game, totally dialed in. A couple little things here and there, but, I thought he played a really good game. Pass pro, run game, communication, all of it I thought was really good. And there's always things to improve on, but and little things. And this was good, but here's how we can make it great, And that's what we're working on. And the slate's right at the head of the line.
I think maybe Justin's outward personality is maybe different from when he is with you guys behind the scenes, but to us he seems very reserved. But from knowing Jim for so long, why do you think they work together? Why is that match working well?
Jim and Justin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a great relationship. Two authentic people working together to serve a greater goal. That's kind of the title of the article. And then from there, it's just that's what it is. Two authentic people that are, going to be themselves and communicate and try to get better and whatnot. It's really cool. Really good. Good question.
You're spending next week out east. You did it twice with Jim with the Niners. What is a week like with Jim Harbaugh on the road?
It is. It's all business. It's all business. Now, he'll have. As far as the coaching staff, we're on a schedule. We're on the clock. And but it's a lot of fun. It's really good team bonding time. It really is. Everybody's around each other. Everybody gets to know each other better. And we've had some really good experiences with it in the past, and looking forward to this one. But first things first, we got to get ready for the Panthers.
What was it like the one trip to Youngstown? I think you guys were in the cinema parking lot and had to do a walkthrough and had to put the buses around so nobody could see anything.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you have a great memory. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, the conditions were raw. It was pretty Spartan conditions. Yes, well, but it was great. It was great. I think everybody had a great time, and everybody put the work in, and we just adapted. But yeah, we were out in the parking lot with buses shielding us so nobody could see us because there wasn't any walk-through space. But it was great.
You mentioned Ladd's touchdown, but how did you think he performed overall, aside from the numbers, just after looking at it back on tape?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers aren't, the numbers never tell the story. I thought he played really well. I thought he was really fired up early in the game, kind of settled down a little bit, locked in, and it was really precise as the game went on. But I thought his week of preparation was great, and I thought he had a winning performance. And the great thing about Ladd is he's going to take every experience he has and learn from it, bank it, and move on. So, yeah, he did a nice job, really nice job.
Any more games with you?
Board games? No, but I know there's going be some board games going on. I'll probably be watching film, but I don't know, maybe on Sunday night. We'll see.
Coach Harbaugh said he likes to play chess.
Oh, okay.
Are you a chess player?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm a chess player. You know, I'm fair. I'm a fair chess player. But, yeah, who knows? We might bust out a chess game. We'll see.